The smile you wear is not a gesture of joy, it is a barricade. You hold it there, rigid and rehearsed, while beneath the surface, your true self is curling into a ball, trying to disappear. It happens in a split second, a request, a demand, a casual imposition from someone you fear losing, and before your brain can even process the weight of the sacrifice, your head is already nodding. Yes. Of course. I can do that. The words tumble out like pebbles falling down a dark well. You call it kindness, but in the quiet, hollow hours of the night, you know the truth. It is not kindness. It is a frantic, suffocating terror of being left behind. You have become an architect of your own erasure, meticulously carving away pieces of your spirit to build a shelter that keeps everyone else warm, while you stand shivering in the rain of your own resentment. You are haunted by the phantom of abandonment, a ghost that whispers in every conversation, warning you that if you stop being useful, if you dare to say the word that feels like a jagged stone in your throat, no, you will cease to exist in the eyes of those you crave. You walk through your day like a phantom haunting your own life. You agree to take on the extra project, even though your mind is already drowning in an ocean of unaddressed tasks. You accept the social invitation, despite the frantic, clawing need to sit in a dark room and just breathe in the silence. You listen to complaints you have heard 1,000 times, nodding in all the right places, your empathy drained dry, while your own scream of "I am hurting too" is swallowed by the effort of maintaining the image of the reliable one. This is the exhaustion of the placator. It is a heavy, leaden fatigue that settles into your marrow. You look in the mirror and see a stranger, a polished, agreeable creature who has no jagged edges, no boundary lines, no spine. You are terrified that if you finally stood your ground, the ground would simply fall away beneath you. You imagine the silence that would follow a refusal, and your chest constricts. The silence is not peaceful, it is the sound of an ending. You believe, with a desperate, irrational conviction, that your value is entirely transactional. You are only worth what you can provide, what you can endure, what you can give away until there is nothing left but the echo of your own compliance. The tragedy is not that you are being used, it is that you have taught the world that you are expendable. You have curated a personality so accommodating that others no longer even consider the possibility that you might have your own needs. They see the nod, they hear the yes, and they move on, never noticing the slight twitch in your jaw, the way your eyes lose focus for a heartbeat, or the cold, bitter ache blooming in your solar plexus. You are a ghost inhabiting a machine of your own design. You watch yourself from a distance as you agree to things that violate your peace, things that sap your energy, things that make you dislike the person staring back at you in the reflection. It is an act of self-betrayal performed so often it has become muscle memory. You have become so adept at reading the room that you have forgotten how to read the map of your own heart. When you finally find a moment of solitude, the chaos of your internal world rises to the surface like sediment stirred from the bottom of a lake. You replay the day, dissecting every interaction, every unnecessary smile, every forced nod, and the self-loathing starts its slow, rhythmic pulse. You wonder when you became so afraid of your own voice. You wonder if the people you are trying so hard to hold on to would even stay if they saw the wreckage you are hiding behind your polite mask. This overthinking is a trap. You run scenarios where you say no, and in every single one of them, the result is the same, the withdrawal of love, the cold shoulder, the door closing with a finality that shakes your foundations. You have built your identity on the shifting sands of other people's approval, and now you are terrified of the tide. You fear that if you express a preference, a limit, or a genuine desire, you will be deemed selfish, difficult, or unworthy. So, you remain in the purgatory of the yes. You are like a plant that has been pruned so severely it has forgotten how to grow toward the light. You exist in the shadows of other people's lives, a supporting character in your own tragedy. The resentment is a slow-burning fire, one you feed with every act of compliance. It changes the way you look at the world, turning even the most mundane interactions into a calculation of loss. You are always calculating how much of yourself you can afford to lose today, and how much you need to keep to survive until tomorrow. You are dying 1,000 deaths by 1,000 concessions, and the most painful part is that the person doing the killing is you. You realize that you are waiting for someone to see your suffering, for someone to notice that you are drowning and reach out to pull you back to the surface. But you are smiling. You are nodding. You are pretending everything is fine. And because you are so convincing, no one comes. They believe your performance, and in doing so, they validate the very lie that is destroying you. The epiphany comes not in a flash of light, but in a moment of crushing clarity. You sit in the dark, the weight of a dozen forced agreements pressing down on your chest, and you realize that the abandonment you fear so intensely has already happened. You abandoned yourself the moment you decided that your peace was a fair price to pay for someone else's comfort. You have been waiting for the world to validate your existence, but you are the only one who can grant yourself permission to be human. To be human means to be imperfect, to be inconvenient, to be messy, and most importantly, to say no. The terror of being alone is merely the fear of being left with yourself, but perhaps that is exactly where you need to be. You have to learn how to exist in the uncomfortable quiet, to hold your own space, and to realize that if someone leaves because you stood up for yourself, they were never truly there for you. They were only there for the reflection of their own desires in your compliant eyes. You are not a service to be consumed, you are a person to be known. And that knowledge begins with the first, terrifying, and necessary act of refusing to be anything other than who you truly are, even if it costs you everything you thought you wanted. I became everything they wanted, and lost everything I was. The quietest no is louder than 1,000 lies.